6 up-and-coming claims managers, 6 ambitious candidates, all with one aim: to be crowned Claims Apprentice 2020. Having decided on their team names, the candidates meet Kennedy's global managing partner, Suzanne Liverstidge, to find out about the first challenge.
Good morning. Today's task is based on podcasts. I want you to plan and create, prepare and record your own podcast. Each team will be given a different theme. One will be climate change and the other the future of work. This podcast will be publicly available, and the winner will be based not only on the hits, but the amount of minutes listened. Good luck.
With the task set, Team Empower have been given the topic of future of work. To help Team Empower develop their podcast, Kennedy's partner, Katerina Yendel, will be their mentor. Katerina is a specialist in high-profile professional negligence claims against property professionals.
So what we've been doing is kind of creating an agenda around a podcast we're going to be doing tomorrow around the future of work.
We're quite open that there is so much out there. From this morning's conversation, there's only been a few things where we looked at and it was technology, but it wasn't until we spoke to yourself, it wasn't until we started thinking about culture and stuff. There is so much more.
So we could ask something like, name a positive about the future of work, name a negative about the future of work, and we could compare how many people who say different answers, so to speak.
You see, I think that would be absolutely fascinating to find out, what really concerns people.
Meanwhile, Team KDA are planning their podcast. They've been given the topic of climate change. To help Team KDA develop their podcast, Kennedy's partner John Bruce will be their mentor. John leads the firm's financial lines practice.
So we've got climate change to do for our podcast. What are your thoughts, guys?
Probably the biggest issues at the minute is storms. From my local area, a lot of people are impacted by the flooding.
We could kind of look at how it impacts consumers and then the insurance market's response to the impact that they have.
Obviously insurance companies are going to be affected, but they are the corporations, whereas the little man or whoever is going to be more affected because that's going to personally affect them. So maybe we should sort of try and concentrate on them as individuals.
It'll be good to get some advice off somebody who's able to kind of shed some light on what insurances are now doing on the back of what they're seeing that's coming in.
Both teams have been told to include opinions and reactions from the general public. Team Empower is the first team to hit the street.
Excuse me, have you got just a couple of seconds for a podcast we're doing?
Sorry.
No, it's all right, don't worry, it's fine.
What does the future of work look like to you?
Do you think of any kind of positives in the future of work, like what's going to happen that's quite...
So I'm a medical student, so I want to be a doctor, hopefully.
Sorry, we're just doing a really quick podcast about the future of work. Can we just ask you a few questions, please?
What does the future of work look like for you?
It's been spoken about for a long, long time, but working different hours, working different homes, it isn't the norm at the moment.
Yeah. And what does the future of work look like to you?
Sadly, I think more like remote working.
Right, can we get some female opinions?
Yes.
So do you think that technology should be built to help people in their day-to-day lives and jobs, or do you think that people need to adapt?
A bit of both. I think as always, it's a matter of balance.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Having recorded enough interviews, Team Empower head back to the office to assess what they have. Next, it's KDA's turn to gather interviews from the public.
I think we'll take it in turns.
See who's got the best sort of knack for it.
I'm going to ask that man there. Yeah. Am I able to just ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind? Oh, don't worry, it's absolutely fine. Excuse me, guys. Are you on your way to a meeting? Do you have a spare couple of minutes?
We don't, because we need to be.
No worries, no problem. Would I be able to borrow you for a moment of your time?
No,
Are you on your way somewhere? No problem.
No
problem.
Although Kelly tries her best, Team KDA finds it difficult to get anyone to stop and take part.
Could I borrow a moment of your time?
Yeah, we're going to 11:30 meeting.
No problem, no problem.
Excuse me, guys. Are you available for just 2 minutes, just for a few questions? Thank you very much.
So, do you think it's right that insurance companies can exclude, alter, or even decline cover if a policyholder has a storm or a flood risk?
That's a tough question. US property binders. I don't think we should exclude, but we sometimes have to refine just because we have to make money eventually, but we have to be careful about how we offer the coverage.
After several rejections, Team KDA finally got what they needed and head back to the office. After a busy day of planning and interviewing, what do the mentors think of the team's progress?
I'm really pleased with how Group Empower have done so far. The mixture and the way that they've interacted and worked off each other and played off each other on the different tensions that they feel in the workplace and what they see as the future has worked really well.
Yeah, KDA is doing really well. There were definitely some overwhelm. When I first met KDA, they'd just been given the topic climate change, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to actually focus on? And they're talking about everything, does it even exist? Are people going to accept that it's a phenomenon? But then they've narrowed it down, and after that period of stress, I think is probably a fair way of describing it, once they got a flow, once they'd narrowed it down, they were much more confident.
As the day draws to an end, the team must finalise their podcast overnight before they will record themselves in the studio the following day. Next time on Claims Apprentice.
Hello, welcome to Team Empower's podcast.
Can we go again? I wasn't ready.
Fine,
I wasn't ready.
I need to reword this that bit. I think we're all pretty prepared, just a bit nervous.
So we're now just going to speak to Harriet, who is... Sorry. I enjoyed it, actually. I did enjoy it. I'm a little bit warm.
So the winner of the podcast challenge is